What's going on? This is Big G from G Riders and welcome to another episode of Testing Rides. Today, I'm going to be testing out this 2001 Subaru Impreza. Welcome to this 2001 Subaru Impreza. So, it was the very first generation of the Subaru Impreza, introduced back in '92, and since then this vehicle has been a top seller for Subaru. So, if you recognize this vehicle behind me, this car has been on my channel before, but in its previous form, and this car is so special because this belongs to my friend Naomi, or Sheloves4wheels on Instagram and YouTube. I'll put up something here so you can know what it looks like. But this was my 6th ever video that I ever did on her naturally aspirated pre-swapped one, and it was my first video to break 1,000 views, so this video is definitely very special to me. So, there's a lot of stuff done on this car, honestly, and I'm not going to go through every single little thing about that's done on this car because honestly I don't know, so there will be a separate video going up a little bit later with Naomi explaining exactly what's done on her car and everything like that. So before I start talking about what's new about this car, we got to talk about how this car was before. So this was a naturally aspirated 2.5 liter, Boxster engine that made 132 horsepower and 132 foot-pounds of torque, and it was real slow. Now it sported the EJ207 engine straight from Japan, making 308 all-wheel horsepower and 282 foot-pounds of torque. Those numbers are dyno tested, so that's exactly what this car makes. And it's not that big of a car, but since it is all-wheel drive, it does weigh about 3,000 pounds. And I mean, this is not an economy car, so it's, not gonna get the best fuel economy. From what the owner tells me, she said that it's about 18 in the city, 21 on the highway, which is honestly, it's not great. That's like what trucks get nowadays. But it's all about the miles per gallon. So now I'm gonna talk a little bit about the styling of the vehicle, because honestly, the styling on these are really nice. But there's a couple small things I like about it. So, I like that she added the projector headlights to the front. It made the car look a little bit more aggressive and a lot more modern. I like the big round JDM fog lights and the big hood scoop in the middle. It just looks like a straight rally car. And the front of this looks pretty mean. Head over to the side of the car, like the overall design of the side is really eggy and bubbly. But honestly, that's just a time period thing, but it works for this car. And honestly, I think that out of all the sedan, the wagon, and the coupe looks the best from the side. I just honestly didn't like the way they kind of designed the backs of the other ones. Then heading over here to the back, this is my favorite part of the car itself because it has the nice wing. The bumper's really clean in the back here. The trunk lid is pretty clean, and the tail lights. It's just a great looking rear of a car. And honestly, this design is very timeless, and honestly, no matter how old this thing gets, it will never look old, in my opinion. So, welcome to the driving portion of the Impreza, our RSTI, and let's head on the road and see how it is. This is a great little car, like overall from what I've driven it. Like the steering is as tight as a drum, and from what the owner tells me, it's a 2015 STI steering rack, so it feels pretty dang modern. The suspension in this thing, oh my god, this thing just feels like it just grips and goes. And I'm Then the shifter is really nice on this thing. From what the owner tells me, she did a lot of work on this transmission to make sure there's no give, and it has a short shifter, and it's excellent. Like, as a guy who doesn't drive manual, I love this shifter because it just makes it easier for me to drive it. And honestly, I feel like the shifter is everything when driving a manual. If you're driving in a sloppy shifter, it's going to be kind of hard to drive it, especially if you don't drive manuals a lot. All right, so let's, after this turn here, we'll give it a little bit of the goods, not too much, just a little bit. Subarus I've driven is basically All right, I would like to thank Naomi again for coming on the show and bringing the car in its complete form. I'm really glad that I was able to, you know, get a chance to check this thing out complete. So if you like this video, hit me with a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, keep riding with me.